transfusions, when in reality, what they should be doing is fucking killing the cells and giving you blood transfusions.
No, you're still here, Flourish.
Changing
What do
your
you?
blood.
There's something called mesenchymal stem cells that can cure all of our ailments. But only
Exactly.
candidates for it. Yeah.
Exactly, and like most stem cell research, like basically like has the cure for everything, bro. Because at the end of the day, we have our DNA. We have, but there's no money in it. But at the end of the day, we have all of our DNA, right? And our DNA is actually close matches to a lot of animal DNA. Okay. And at the end of the day, there's animals that can regrow limbs. There's animals that can do all of this other shit, bro.
Yo, have we had any presidents or like higher up leaders die of cancer like at a younger age as opposed to like in their 90s and shit? Don't they all live for like fucking ever? I know
yeah,
like
they
people
got
that
money.
have power, they got like medicine.
For honey badger to survive cancer, anyone can.
So.
You guys also have to look in retrospect. If every motherfucker that you came across lived forever, there would be no resources left for the next generation.
At all, bro.
Fuck the next generation. I'll be dead by then.
No, 100%, and like that's a big thing that people do. Like we're overpopulated right now, bro,
Oh,
and that's why like
It's like a law in Japan where you can't have a certain amount of kids.
And that's the problem. That's why I'm not fully against the coronavirus and the whole outbreak right now, because at the end of the day, it's a culling. We have over 8 billion people on this fucking planet. It's population control, exactly. You know, like, and it's like it's hitting the people that are immune compromised, like mostly old people. You know what I'm saying? And if like the old people die out, like, you know how many old people are in this world right now?
Talk about how like kids these days can't get the coronavirus or some shit.
Well, that's who needs to die, are the fucking old people. Those are the fucking racist ass motherfuckers.
And they fucked up our housing market. Let's just be real on that too.
Oh yeah.
Housing should be free. Imagine a life where everybody, instead of paying, you traded, and you got housing.
But here's the problem. Look at we're in America. I'm in America,
If they
right?
lived on a bartering system like trading and stuff, how would you assign value to items though? Like there'd be arguments over like how many crabs do I give you for soda.
But that's the problem. Here's where that problem lies. Everything has a value because we place that value on the
Exactly.
thing. Diamonds are worthless,
There's an
bro,
infinite amount of diamonds. Put a price on that.
We put a price on it.
There's money out there.
Yeah, we put a price on shit, bro, and that's what. That's all it is, bro. But we put a price on it, and we said, you know what?
A man with 10 diamonds is starving, and a guy with fucking some bread. You think that guy's gonna give up those diamonds for some fucking bread?
Did that nigga like block solo dope?
He should.
He did.
He should. At the end of the day, who cares? It's just some shiny rock.
I didn't block anybody. Not you, bro.
You feel me? This goes along with being kind to your neighbors, because those would be the people you'd be trading with. Would be your neighbors, you know.
And like the United, like the America had a great system until they came over and colonized, bro. Like, cause that's what the system was. They hunted, they lived their lives, they traded, they fucking like handled shit.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Like, there's no point of value. It's
we had a great system, but then what do you mean? When you colonize, you mean when the Brits came and colonized?
When America got colonized, bro, we can't just blame the Brits because listen, everyone that's a proud American these days, we all live on a lie. Like first and foremost, bro. Like because this is what we did. We escaped. You know, we escaped fucking everything. When the colonization happened, we were trying to fucking escape the British and their fucking oppression, everything, right? When we came over here,
I have a lot of Cherokee in me, and I always have people asking me about this shit, and I've never given a fuck. Like I've always said, as long as you're not like openly a dick about it, the way I see it is I'm not gonna like blame current people for it.
But we're not gonna blame current people. But what you gotta do is understand
that. Like acknowledge that it happens.
But what we gotta do is like understand the contradiction that we live in. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, we want equality and we want these people to own their own shit and blah 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 blah. But we took that away from the natives, bro. When we came here, they had to.
Honestly,
we took
that's
all of
something
this
I
shit.
never understood.
You know, like it's a contradiction. You know, like we live, and then
one thing I don't like is people that say we shouldn't allow immigrants into the country when technically most of the people like ancestors are immigrants.
This should be white people.
No,
it should be white people that should be kicked out and more fucking.
And
you know how many Mexican kids we got in cages.
And let's even talk about that because Mexicans they're actually Americans. They're more American than Americans are because
Yeah,
Mexicans
because
were
we stole
actually
because of the
originally.
Western expansion. Yeah.
Yeah, they were Native Americans, bro. Mexicans weren't Mexicans to begin with. They were Aztecs and Mayans, bro. Until the Spanish Inquisition happened.
Don't just
The
say
fucking
Mexican, Central America as well.
The Spanish Inquisition happened. Cortez
went
came
down,
over
beat
and
them into
fucking like
submission and
raped
said, "We're taking your
and
shit."
pillaged everything.
Dude, Cortez,
And then like they were
Cortez.
technically Native Americans, okay? And then when like cuz Mexico owned almost all of California. 100%, like back in the day, they owned almost all of
They
California,
had
bro.
like California over to Texas, and we went down, beat them into submission,
Over to
and said, "We're
Texas.
taking
Yeah, we
this."
beat them into submission. Texas is like one of the fucking rare animals in America, bro. Texas used to be its own country.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it used to be its own country, bro. Like not, oh, you know, like it's just a bunch of no. It was its own.
Now they're trying to
fucking
become its
country.
own country again. They realize shit. We gotta
Yeah,
go back to simplicity.
they had their own president, bro. President Sam Houston. That's who the fuck their president was. That's why fucking, you know, Houston, Texas is named after that man. Like Sam Houston was the president of Texas when it was its own country. History is just wild, man. Like a lot of people just like they want to forget that it happened, but at the end of the day, you can never forget that it happened, bro, because it's gonna repeat itself if you do.
History will always repeat itself.
I mean, look at this. Imagine for a minute.
What it is, it's all these rich people that are still in power that stop everybody else from fucking changing
That's what
the
people
world,
are thinking
man.
right now. Is like, oh, history's
No,
repeating
what we
itself
need,
right
no,
now.
listen,
'cause all the
what
rich
we need
people
to
are
have is
getting
a
away with
king,
shit.
bro. Like, how?
No,
I'm
No,
more
no.
ruler, bro.
If we have a king,
no.
then fucking King Henry fucking
No, but
shit's only
listen.
gonna happen again.
No, here's where this is, bro.
Because
I
either one
think-
guy can change everything or one guy can fuck it up, you know? So we
I
just gotta,
think what I think is, see, but having a king is like a cop out, bro, because
we all,
that's
we
human
all have
nature.
to choose.
We want all this freedom, right? We want to be able to say what we want, do what we want, but at the same
But we're not
time,
ready for the
we want
repercussions
to
of what you do.
we don't want to have those repercussions, so we want to put it all on one person.
Exactly.
Like if something
yeah.
bad happened, it's his fault because he's the leader. You know what I'm saying? All we have to do in realization, like in all reality, to like make America like a great place again, is be able to point out all of our flaws, bro. Instead of saying America's the greatest country in the world, like no, America's an alright country, bro, but we got a lot that's wrong here. We don't have all the freedom that we preach to everybody, and there's no equality here like we preach to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, equality, that's just not a thing in America.
Like everybody wants to change, but no one's willing to like go out and do it.
No one's willing to do it, and that's exactly what it is. You know,
But
like
it's not
everyone
even
wants to.
that neither. Like it's hard, you know. You got to change
Yeah,
the
you gotta be
system
careful
that's
with saying
already in
no.
place.
Yeah.
with a bunch
Let
of
me ask you.
fucking
Let me ask you a
Think of
question.
a
Everyone.
bunch of cultists, white cultist people that are fucking that own this shit, bro. Like, you think they're not gonna
Imagine trying-
assassinate you? They assassinated Martin Luther King, bro. Like,
Imagine trying to like tell everybody that we have all this freedom, right? And we can do and say whatever the fuck we want. But the minute we say what we want, like we're getting shot or like we're getting caught up on charges for slander and this and that and the third. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't have the freedoms that everyone keeps preaching that we fucking have, bro. Like that's just a fallacy
no,
at the
but
end of
we
the fucking
could,
day.
and that's the thing. We could.
We
just-
could, but we don't.
We need to
like
change. We need to change the fucking the Constitution.
Like,
That's
some
what it
people also-
is.
some people also have to think about others.
But that doesn't mean others are gonna
Because
agree.
we keep
Yeah,
letting
no one's gonna, like,
dipshits
agree-
be president,
not
and they
everyone's always
keep
gonna like agree with you. and shit.
changing it.
You're talking about changing the Constitution, which I agree. Do you know who the Constitution was written by? A bunch of white slave owners, bro. At the end of the day, that's what it was. It was a bunch of like they wrote the Constitution, and the Constitution was self-serving.
That's why you
It
gotta
was
keep updating
self-serving to
George
their motives.
Washington was like the biggest fucking like hilarious fucking thing in American history.
Like it
It
was
was a way to
the
protect
Constitution.
government, corrupted government. That's what it's made for.
Yeah, it's self-serving to
George
their fucking
Washington
goals.
tricked the natives, man. Tricked the natives and took their fucking land in the end when he promised them.
And they
that
gave
he
them
would give it back.
smallpox. They gave them smallpox.
That was the biggest, like, I don't know what to call it, but the biggest fucking, like, lie ever made. And what is it that you guys learn in school about George Washington? Like,
He
what,
cut down a
lie?
cherry tree. He cut down a cherry tree, bro.
And that he would
And-
never lie, and he
and
didn't
you-
committed one of the biggest lies in history. Are you fucking
Let's
kidding?
get back to our Disney facts. You remember my Disney facts from earlier? Let me tell you the story of fucking Pocahontas, bro. Tell you the story of that. John Smith from Pocahontas. He was a 26-year-old man. Okay, you all know how old Pocahontas was?
Yeah. The one where the 13-year-old he went
Pocahontas
out
was
and
like-
raped. Yeah,
yeah,
everyone
she
knows
was-
about Pocahontas.
13 years old, bro. And they tried to make John Smith look like the good guy in that movie, but he wasn't.
Dude, he was
wasn't,
far
bro.
from a good guy.
They raped and pillaged those Native Americans, and he stole Pocahontas, bro. That's the actual story.
It's like me going into your house, grabbing your 13-year-old daughter, raping her, saying, "Oh, I'm saving her," and then killing everyone in there.
Yeah, basically.
And then just taking the house, being like, "This is my house now."
This is my house now, bro. Yeah, that's what that was, bro. And like they try to romanticize it and make it seem like it was completely something else, but that's not a reality, bro.
Stop hitting that fucking stuff.
Nah, it's not.
History sucks, man. And the problem
This
is,
is 3 naked men sitting here talking about politics.
everybody tries to ignore it. Everyone tries to ignore it.
Every morning in school singing about the Queen because where I live, I'm a British. I live
are you in Canada?
That's what I don't understand. People worship flags and royalty more than they do like respect for each other. Like in America, we pledge to a flag every day instead of having basic respect. We expect this flag to take away
No,
our
like in
problems.
school down here, every morning we have to sing the British national anthem, which is "God Save the Queen," and it's just like, dude, fuck the Queen, man. Like she doesn't do jack shit.
What? Why should God save the Queen? I mean, what is she doing?
What about everybody else, man? Like the fucking Queen doesn't say.
Did you just say fuck the Queen, bro?
I didn't say fuck the Queen. No.
Oh shit.
Bro, we don't have the FBI, we have the Interpol.
Whatever.
Interpol?
Bro.
That sounds like the
It was still funny,
International
okay?
police.
So FBI is working with Snapchat.
What are they gonna do? Run up at me with batons?
No, the law enforcement's allowed to have guns in the UK.
Actually, no. The way it works is that if you're a constable, you only rock batons. But if you're a part of like basically what the SWAT would be in the U.S., we call it FRU, like firearms unit. Those are the only ones. Oh, and detectives, they can carry firearms. But constables, they only carry batons.
See, we can't afford to do that here because the second some shit pops
What
up,
do you
we
mean
got
we
time to
can't?
be calling
Oh,
nobody.
yeah.
2
I thought
minutes,
it was
30
my
minutes later,
taser.
somebody comes and helps.
What
Like,
are
no.
constables?
I
thought
read
it was
about that
my taser.
online.
I thought it was my
read about that
taser.
online the other day. Yeah,
I
she
thought it was my
confused her
taser.
gun for a taser. What the fuck?
Bro,
Yeah,
he's holding a loaf
I
of
wanna
bread.
know.
That's a gun.
I want to know what your opinion actually is on that, Scoobs. Scoobs, are you nearby? I heard
Bro,
your
he's
voice.
holding a loaf of bread. He's got
I
a
want to
gun.
know.
He's
I
holding
want
a
to
cell
know about
phone.
your
He's got a
opinion
gun.
on that situation because I heard they tried to like break
Alright,
away and flee into
well-
the car and all that happened. So I'm curious, like, what's your take on that?
my
being
opinion
both black
on
and a
it-
cop. Like, what's your opinion? on that?
I'm gonna start from the beginning with that. All right. So
Alright.
here's the deal. Homie got stopped for having expired plates or whatever
Someone
the fuck on his
talking
car.
that I have
Good
muted?
valid stop. Then they ran his shit, identified him, and he had a warrant for his arrest, which was a fucking warrant for robbery, which is a felonious warrant. So they went to go and take him into custody. He was chilling, he was going for it, and all of a sudden he started resisting arrest. The second that he started fighting them, the fight was on. All right. So then he jumped inside of the car. He was about to dip. They weren't trying to let him dip. He had a warrant. I get it. That female officer, where she fucked up was I think she hasn't been involved in any high risk incidents in a while, if at all, because her stress management as well as
to
being able to
immediately
control
fire.
herself. No, listen to me. Her stress management and her ability to control herself in that setting was all out of the window. She was very, very emotional. And when you don't have good stress management and aren't used to being in certain situations that, when you're stressed out and shit and being able to make those good decisions, you make mistakes. I think she really did think that she had her fucking taser in her hand and she was being a fucking dumb idiot and didn't decide anything. She thought she was doing the right thing. She almost shot her fucking partner in the face, first of all. Second of all, our guns that we use, she's got the same shit that I use. And that shit is heavy. It's probably
There's a
Glock
very
17 Gen
noticeable
5.
difference.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
and not only
It's
that,
noticeable.
when you're aiming your taser or your firearm, you need to know where you're shooting. So that means you're aiming down sights, right? Well, how does she not know that she had the gun in her hands? Well, I can tell you why. She didn't know what the fuck she was aiming at because she had her taser and she was being lazy. She was just going to use the red dot, but she wasn't even looking for that. She let it rip. She made a mistake. And that was that. I mean, she's gonna pay for it. She's gonna go down.
It was an illegitimate discharge.
Like stupid.
What I heard
Yeah,
was,
no, it was
correct me if I'm wrong. What I heard was that she was ordering another officer to use their taser. When they didn't use a taser, she just shot.
No, we're
Yeah, I had a
supposed
feeling
to
that was
shout
wrong.
taser. We're supposed to shout taser, taser,
Yeah,
taser
feeling
before
that
we
way.
shoot our taser, so that way we don't shock our partners if they're holding on to the person.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, what it was an illegitimate discharge of a firearm, bro. Like, that's...
Yeah, and then they try to
realistically.
cover it up that, oh, I thought it was a taser.
No,
Well,
bro,
no, I don't think it was a cover-up.
No.
I think what Scoobs is trying to say was she's never been in that situation. You can
Well,
train
she's-
all the
she's been working.
you can train
like
as much as you
26
want.
Listen.
You can train as much as you want, but if you never experience it in the field, you know that
Yes,
training is
bro.
for nothing, bro. That training's
yeah.
for
Bro,
nothing.
like, when
you
I
have
was
to
on the
experience
road-
it.
You can't
I've
train
been
them
out
in
for
those areas.
when I was on the road, I would be getting shot at.
You
Motherfuckers would be
can't
running
mistake
from me,
a
like all
pistol for
types of shit.
fucking
When you're exposed
taser.
to
Two
it
different
constantly, you know
colors,
how to
yellow
handle
for
your
a
shit.
reason.
But she was
Second
on the
you pull
force for
it out,
26
you aim
years.
it.
She was an
You know, it's a
FTO.
gun
Was
or
in
a
a podunk
taser.
town. I guarantee
And
you
it
she
feels
never
different
really
in
had
your
to
hand.
put herself in a
She
situation
was a
where it
desk
was life or
jockey,
death
bro.
like that.
I guarantee she was a
It
desk
doesn't
jockey.
matter. It
And
doesn't
then
matter.
for you to,
It doesn't
and then
matter.
it's just
She
it's
been on a
crazy to
power
me. And
trip.
my taser,
She
it's
fucking
cross
shot
draw, so
someone
I would
because
never
someone
confuse
dead,
the two.
someone
It's on
away
my
from her.
support side. So there's no way that I'm like, it's impossible. It's impossible.
It's
for me to make
impossible.
that
That's
mistake.
why they
I
make
don't know where her
tasers the
shit
way that they
was.
do. You
Yeah,
know what
wait,
color
yeah.
a taser is? It's black and bright yellow, bro. Like, have you ever been shot by a taser? I know you have, Scoops. They make you get shot by that taser.
I have, yeah.
But like the way a
Okay,
taser
you're a
actually,
cop?
yeah, a way a taser discharges, you know,
It's
like
different.
it's
It's like
got
a
like
loud-
a, it's
a loud
different.
weird
It's got
sound,
a,
yeah.
it's
Like
got a cover
like-
piece over it. It's got a cover
It's
piece
like
over it. The
slamming a
discharge,
cabinet or
like
something.
10 times lighter.
the way that you actually do, like you have to change out the taser after you use it because it's basically like a clip. It clips onto the front of it, and it's got a plastic piece that breaks off when the taser actually comes out with the wires attached to it. So like you're allowed to fire that taser one fucking time before
Oh,
you
yeah.
gotta
Oh,
change
yeah,
the
dude.
cartridge out.
And
You
not
can
to
do a
mention those
drive
needles
stun
that
too
like
with it,
stick
but-
in your
Yeah,
chest.
you can do the dry stun too, but like at a
Have you
distance,
even
like
been to bed?
what? Mind your business. Mind your business. All
Have
right.
you even been to bed?
Mind your business.
Have you even been to bed?
Probably at some point in my life. Don't worry about it. Don't worry.
Oh my
We dance here at the
God.
Rift forever.
You put him on the spot now.
No, but like no, that's how a taser is discharged, and the way that she did it, at the end of the day, like I said, she was under high stress, and like she didn't know what the fuck she was doing. Like I guarantee she was a desk jockey, like she had no clue. She'd never been out in the field, because like I said, you can train and everything looks good on paper until you're in a
But in
high stress
practice, it's
situation.
different.
Yeah, exactly. Until you're in that high stress situation, you don't know
And if
how
you
shit's
can't
gonna
handle
turn
it,
out.
you need to be fired. The second you fuck up.
Exactly, and
It's
that's
like
that's the fuck
the
part
Hudson
about
River
it.
scenario. How you can train for when he like landed the plane. How they had that simulation where they practiced a million times before they did the simulation in court. And
Yeah,
they,
but
and
it's
they,
not
and they flat out,
compared to real life.
yeah, and their
People's lives
defense
aren't gonna
was,
be,
hey, give us you don't have the human reaction of stressing out if both engines went down, things like that. You
Yeah,
don't
but
have,
how they
like,
do
the
it.
human reaction.
How they do a lot of the training is at like a firing range when they do breaches and they practice all that shit. You know, it's at a range. They're
always
not
the same.
dealing with they're not dealing with actual people. And there's some times where they run drills, you know, where they use paintballs and they fucking like they have different teams and shit.
And
but at
people
the
are
end of
getting
the
too ballsy
day,
and stuff because they know that's not real. It's not like a real
Yeah.
scenario where you're actually in there
Exactly,
thinking this is
and-
life or death now. This isn't
Exactly,
me
and at the
playing
end of the
paintball or
day-
airsoft with my friends.
yeah. So once
It
you
breaks
deal with
skin
that
and
shit,
everything.
yeah, the tasers, them bitches ain't
Nah,
shit, bro.
no, bro. Like, ammunition rounds.
Oh,
like,
but
we
yeah,
actually
yeah,
use,
yeah.
like, they're called blue guns. They
Blue guns,
pop
yeah.
off like real, like they sound like real guns, and they shoot like this hard ass, like fucking plastic ass pellet at you.
It's the
and it
rubber
hurts
pellets.
so bad, bro.
yeah.
That shit was
that shit ain't.
terrible.
That shit's awful, bro.
Yeah, like that shit hurt like a motherfucker. I was scared, ducking behind cars and shit.
But like, yeah. So
And
you
then you get hit in the
can.
hand.
Black ones they use, the orange and black
Yeah,
ones.
but like, so
Oh,
yeah, you can
yeah.
attest to that. You can attest to that, Scoobs. Like the training for the shit. You know how they have the ranges and they have the little courses set up,
Yeah,
and
man, I had all types
you
of
know,
training.
like, yeah,
still
you
have
know
to
what I'm
stay up on
saying.
that.
But that training, like, it readies you for
Yeah,
something
I'm
that you're never
looking
gonna be
forward
ready
to
for.
it.
In reality, you know, because that's you facing off against people that you know you're not really going to get seriously injured or possibly die, you know, but once you get put into that high stress situation, it's a whole different ball game, bro. You
Oh, yeah.
I'm
panic,
gonna
you
tell
can't
right now,
control
that
your
shit
nerves.
is- I'll tell you right now, like the scariest shit ever is like when you stop somebody and then you go to cuff them, right? And then it's at that point where they're making that decision in their head. Either they're gonna fight you, or they're gonna let you take them, and then it like the fight happens and it's on. That shit is the scariest shit ever, bro. Like it's I don't know. That's why I got like a tiny bit of sympathy for her, but at the same time, bitch, you know you're wrong. Like you could have killed her too in that.
Because
like,
you know how light a taser is, bro. Compared to that fucking gun, at the end of the day, bro. Because tasers are like nothing.
You think after the first round you would know that's not a taser?
100%, because the taser only shoots out one round.
But then again, it might have been the
you gotta remember too that here in America, the departments, depending on where you're at, they all have different levels of training and shit. Like my department is vastly different than 99.99% of the motherfuckers in this state. That's why.
Yeah, because like she was stationed out in the boondocks. There was no problems like that, bro.
Yeah, bro. Like I mean, like we literally, there's people that you'll walk on a scene and motherfuckers are flagging you with their guns, and like I've had to cuss people the fuck out. Like you don't point your gun at me.
Even if he does, that's his homie's fault, man. Who gives a fuck?
It's crazy.
He doesn't. He be capping. Fucking. His whole guild made fun of him.
Oh, he hates cops because his homies in lockdown. What do you get arrested for, bro?
And that's why he's.
I don't know. I'm gonna tell y'all, fucking lit really do be wilding in real life though. High key, bro. High key. I ain't gonna lie to y'all.
Dude,
I
these
know. I ain't
conversations
gonna lie to
sound
y'all,
like
bro.
an episode of like a podcast or something.
No, always, bro. We gotta keep it interesting, bro.
No, like I bet there's people who come to the Rift on their first time on ESO wondering what's going on.
There definitely is, bro.
Yeah.
You understand, like,
Hey, Solo, was that you talking about you just going into the military or some shit?
Wait, what?
Who said they couldn't wait for training?